For as long as I can remember, you've always been around. Way back to my earliest memory, I can't really ever think of a day I wasn't aware of you. I still laugh about it, because I've known you for as long as I can think back, but I still remember my first real encounter with you. I still remember you softly, but confidently, sitting with me and telling me all that you thought about me. What about me made you smile, the things about me that made you laugh. I remember how confidently you told me that you loved my smile. I'd always thought it was a little weird and awkward. My teeth aren't perfectly straight and I have a little bit of an overbite, but you continued on to tell me how it was beautiful. I remember sitting there with you and being completely overtaken by the way you loved me. I had always figured you had a little bit of a thing for me. I mean, it was a little obvious because wherever I was, you were as well, but I never suspected that you loved me. At least not as passionately and as purely as you've since revealed to me. And I really don't know what to say, because your love is just enthralling. It's completely captivating, awe-striking, it's calling out for my attention, and I can't refuse how enticing it sounds. I can't help but embrace it. I remember the first time I encountered the passionate fullness of your love. I was overwhelmed. Like a little child looking through a kaleidoscope for the first time, I was giddy with excitement. You revealed so much to me. Wherever I looked, I was now looking through the lens of your revelation. You brought new colors and shapes to my life. I was overtaken by how my whole outlook changed. Everything I thought I knew was being rearranged. I was undone by the ways your love had started to reshape every definition I'd ever put on something. I was speechless. The world was so much more beautiful when it was now covered by the revelation of your love. You brought new colors to images that were old and boring. Nothing was the same. Every time I stepped out the door, it was a new adventure. I couldn't wait to go and discover something new and exciting with you, because you made the good things just that much better. And just as I became accustomed to this new way of looking at life, you began to turn. Everything I thought I was just starting to get used to was flipping upside down. Everything was shifting, changing, rearranging, forming yet another new attribute of your love. You were undoing all the former definitions that I put on love, redefining what I thought we had just defined, adding new shapes and lines into places that they previously did not make sense, combining colors that previously would not mix. Your love is messy. It would be far too limiting for me to say that it had a clear definition. My life since that first encounter has been radically changed. That smile you already loved has become far more genuine. Your love has encompassed everything. It flows into every part of my very being, undoing the way it used to previously view the world, supplying me with a new mindset. You've given my mind a total reset. You've rebooted me, started me over. The joy I have is just indescribable. God, it's because of your great love that this life is livable. Your love is the lens that I now look at life through. I see your creativity in everything. I can't help but chuckle at the idea of you putting mountains on the planet because of the enjoyment I get from hiking up them. I can't help but be overtaken when I start looking around me. I see you everywhere. My favorite one of your creations is by far the 7.6 billion people that currently fill the earth. It's kinda cool, really, because me, one of those 7.6 billion creations, is completely in love with what you also consider to be your best masterpiece. I see your original breath of life in everyone, almost as if it had just been released. Like any proud artist, you put your mark on everything, regardless of whether or not that piece has decided to fall into the understanding that you were the one that created it, regardless of whether or not that piece chooses to embrace the very one that made it. I am so in love with people, because the better I get to know them, the more of your attributes I begin to see. You've made us to be individuals, each and every one of us at least a little different from the one before us. You've given all of us our own little part of you, and I can't help but devote my entire life to getting to know your creation. I can't help but personally caring about each and every person, because whether they are the pastor of the world's largest church or the biologist that believes they have just found the proof of evolution, each and every one of them carries a different attribute of you that only they themselves as an individual can truly reveal. I love to make people laugh, because their laugh is the closest I've ever come to audibly hearing you. We're made in your image, so I believe we make the same sounds that you do. After all, no trumpet ever made the same sound as a saxophone. I can't wait to hear you laugh. I imagine it sounds exactly like all 7.6 billion unique sounds of pleasure and enjoyment being sounded off at one consecutive moment. I'm a genuine person. I refuse to not look people in the eyes. Not trying to be romantic, but God, I am so in love with people's eyes. They all carry different depth. I truly believe that like a photograph, all 7.6 billion unique sets of eyes are just little pixelizations of the big picture, which is the image of your eyes. I look into people's eyes and I can't help but see the individual brush strokes. I can't help but see the massive amount of effort you put into them. I also believe that people's smiles show a different attribute of you. I believe that a genuine smile better displays the fullness of your love than any word we could write on paper. The crooked teeth, the not perfectly straight lips, these eyes that squint just a bit too much, those all come together to make a real, genuine, perfect smile. A smile that we may not be capable of considering be perfect because everything doesn't quite line up. But because it's real, raw, and genuine, it's made perfect. Your love is messy. Like so many of the most emotional smiles, not everything is perfectly in place like we may expect or hope, but your love is far more real than any fake love we can create within our heads. God, I see you everywhere, and I'm totally captivated by your creative nature. Thinking about your creation brings me pleasure that I cannot fully describe. There are days that it fully captures my mind. Like a kaleidoscope, the beauty is always constantly changing. I'm always seeing a new part of you within your different creations. But unlike a kaleidoscope, my eyes will never get bored at looking at what you, the creator, has created. I get to spend the rest of my life taking in what you've created. I stay awake at night thinking about possibly having another 80 years of seeing your revelation. I cry out, pour out my heart, passionately praying for you to expand my mind so that it can contain all the revelation that I have and have yet to find within your different creations. I can't wait to gaze into your eyes, to hear you laugh, and then watch as you continue to return that gaze while looking at me, all the while also smiling. I'm giddy with excitement, because I still have the rest of my life to continue discovering who you are within what you've created. And it's not until after all of that, that the real fun really begins. God, I'm so in love with you.